So what is the most disgusting call I have ever been on? Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So I asked you guys for video ideas and one of you suggested doing a story about the most disgusting call I've ever been on. And it's really hard for me to think back and try to compare calls like that because some are very visually disgusting and others more emotionally disgusting. Now you guys are gonna have to forgive me, I have a horrible memory, and doing this for 2 years now, it's hard for me to remember if I have told you guys a story or not. You guys let me know in the judge video pretty quickly that I've actually told that story before. So if I repeat myself in any of my videos, I do apologize, I just don't remember. So this call I'm actually going to tell you guys about was one of the most physically disgusting calls I've ever been on, but also one of the most emotionally involved calls. So this was back in 2009. I was actually a relatively new officer at the time. I was on patrol one morning when this welfare check came in. This guy called in, he lives about an hour away, and he wanted to check on the welfare of his father. He had not heard from his father in about 2.5 weeks. So I show up at the door, I start knocking, I did not get a response. So I knew something was off when I first got to this call. I show up, I start knocking on the door, I did not get an answer, but what was kind of alarming was this guy's mail was really stacked up in his mailbox. He had a ton of newspapers in his driveway. So I called my sergeant at the time, I told him what I had, and he said, just hold on, I'll be en route. And I remember specifically, I was trying to smell around like the creases of the door to see if maybe I could get some sort of like death odor, but I couldn't smell anything outside. So basically the sergeant gets there and he tries everything I did. He knocked on the door, he checked the mail, he checked the newspapers. Then he gave me the golden words, go ahead and kick the door. I knew this was my moment to shine, and this was either the first or one of the first times I had ever been able to kick in somebody's door. I know that sounds really wrong, but come on, as a new cop, young, it's fun. Now the common door that everybody used was actually in the back of the house. So we went to the back after I got off the phone with the son, kind of got his permission to do this too. We went to the back and there was this wooden door. I kicked this damn door so hard that it split in half vertically and one half of the door went flying inside. The whole door frame was messed up. Here's the sad part. The guy that called this in, his wife was actually on scene at the time. She was hysterical. So the sad part kind of came in when I kicked the door open, and right away we all smelled death. So right away she starts screaming. There's another officer trying to hold her back from going into the house. Now normally when you have a scene like this, you have to clear the residence to make sure it's safe. So while the officer is restraining this guy's wife, me and the sergeant go in, we clear the house, everything's fine. As soon as we go into the house, we turn the corner and I see a body in the hallway. So I have actually drawn a 2D, what I think to be very accurate diagram of kind of the scene there. So as you can tell, I spent a lot of time on this diagram. I know, I'm a regular Picasso. So the worst part about this call at this time was this guy had been dead in his hallway for at least 2.5 weeks. Now keep in mind, this is also during the summertime too. So his body had basically swollen up, popped, and then all of his bodily juices have soaked up into the wall about 1.5 feet. More bugs than I've ever seen in a house. Every step you took anywhere near the hallway, you were hearing a crunch under your toes. And I don't have to go into graphic detail to explain to you guys what the smell was. It was probably, of all the body scenes I've been to, that one I remember as being the worst smell-wise. I don't know if that was my first time being around a rotten body that kind of gave me that impression. Maybe I just got used to it after that. I don't know. I just remember it was the worst smelling one I've ever been to. So during the course of this call, of course, you kind of have like a checklist of things that you have to do during a death scene investigation. I've made a video about that I do remember. So we're going down this list. We called the son, or I guess his wife called him and told him about his father being deceased. So the son actually got in his car and he was heading this way. He was about an hour out. Yeah, he made it there in about 35 minutes. There are a lot of dark moments in this job, and you have to be careful as an officer. There's a time and a place to laugh about certain things. You don't want to do that in front of family members when they just lost a loved one. But at the same time, you kind of have to find humor in dark times. The humor I found at this dark particular time was when EMS came in, they put on full hazmat suits to bag this guy into a body bag. The messed up part was one of the guys was at his shoulders, the other guy was at his feet. They were supposed to pick him up, put him in the bag. Well, because these bodily juices were out on the floor, this was a very slick floor. I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. So one of the EMS guys picks this guy's shoulders up and slips, drops the body, and if it were not in the hallway, he would have kissed this body. Luckily for him, he grabbed the side of the walls like inches away from this body. He fell, he hit the walls and stopped himself. Even though he was in a full hazmat suit with a mask and everything else, it still would have been pretty gross. So they end up bagging this body, we get him out. Now, just because you remove a body does not mean everything else has been removed. So there's still juices, there's still bugs, there's still skin on the floor and stuff. Pretty gross. So they take the body out, they put it into a transport van that is not marked. The transport van leaves. But the most disturbing part of this call, when I was outside, I was doing investigation, I was talking to neighbors, getting neighbor information, and to this day, I still don't know who the dumbass is. Somebody told this guy, because he was trying to get a little handheld safe. Somebody gave this guy permission to go into the house, step over where his father had been dead, to go to the back bedroom and grab this little handheld safe. Imagine having to step over where your dad had been dead for several weeks to get a piece of property. I wish somebody would have told me beforehand that he needed this safe, so I could have gone in there and, I don't know, maybe gotten it myself so he didn't have to see that. But seeing the emotional distraught in this guy's face was definitely heartbreaking. And you could tell, like, even the daughter-in-law, you know, she obviously loved this guy too, almost as much as her own father, because they were both very visually upset. I've been to a lot of gross calls, I've been to a lot of emotional calls, but this one kind of tied everything in together. It was a very emotional scene, it was very hectic, it was very visual, it stimulated all your senses in the wrong way. Anyway guys, that is it. That is one of the most disgusting calls I've been on, or maybe disturbing. Maybe disturbing is a better word. But either way, like I said, I asked you guys for ideas and you guys have given me a bunch of good ones, so I'm gonna sit down and take some time here to try to come up with some more video ideas for you guys. I know it's kind of been dry lately and I'm trying to overcome that writer's block, if you will. But either way, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and weekend. I'm going to be working all weekend, so I will not be able to get another video out until probably Monday or Tuesday. I'm actually going to Arizona to see my dad here soon. I'm really excited about that, and I'm gonna do some videos out there as well. I hope you guys, again, have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you very, very soon.